Welcome to the Toffee TV podcast. It is the episode 14.
Mm-hmm.
The episode 14.
The episode 14.
That's
almost as many as Star Wars.
That's a very... Oh, I watched... You know what I...
Oh, good start.
I'm not saying I illegally downloaded Disney Plus,
But
I did illegally download The Mandalorian and watch it last night, and then afterwards I illegally got Disney. Not illegally, because both ways I've got it. I've got Disney Plus.
What a confession.
And I've got a VPN, and both of them are both legal, but you put them together.
So no geo-blocking then?
No, I've got a VPN. They're perfectly legal.
Yeah.
I know you're really
They
interested in Disney Plus, aren't you, Baz?
They advertise VPNs on telly now, so perfectly legal.
They must be legal.
Yeah.
They must
can't
be legal.
advertise them, they're legal.
They're legal.
Yeah.
Even Premier League games advertise them, which is hilarious, since that's what they use for. Anyway.
They're not illegal. We can talk about them.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, this wasn't on the plan to
It's a
talk
podcast.
about, so
It doesn't matter.
there
I'm
you
just
go.
saying. You
Maybe Southampton need to hide themselves.
You brought Star Wars up, and I just wanted to drop that in straight away.
Did you enjoy The Mandalorian?
I did. I need to watch it again. I was quite tired yesterday
How
watching
many
it.
episodes did they release? One a week, is it?
One, and then the second one comes out Friday. And there's a
Okay.
big thing that happens at the first episode. I won't ruin it for you, but it is just like, say what? Like that.
Is it good?
Yeah.
It's like Indiana Jones in space.
No, sorry, I can just hear Baz breathing on me like
I'm not, go on.
oh, my teeth.
I'm fine.
No, it's
This podcast is not sponsored by Disney.
It's thankfully because we're ripping them off. They can hear us. That's the worry. They can hear us.
Roy Disney.
No, it's like it's more like a western.
Oh.
You know, it's very quiet and everything's very like on point.
Oh.
Very like
Subtle.
just yeah. You've got to watch it. Are you going to watch it?
Yes, I'm going to watch it.
All right. You're going to legally watch it, or are you going to wait till March the 31st when Disney Plus comes out in this country?
I'll leave it open to debate.
You got enough? What's that, Baz?
No, I'm not. It's just
loads on there. There's a new
Just have
Lady in a
nice
Tramp
little
film.
stream. Oh, great.
You know what I mean? For you.
You love spaghetti.
There's a high school musical remake. I know you like High School Musical.
not
Run
Efron.
this
Oh,
together.
the songs are great, but it's not
Yeah.
Efron. What's the point?
It's just a remake. Well, he's about 37 now. He can't be
He
doing
looks
it.
about 18.
And he's not
30.
he just have a good shave. He's not.
What else is
Played
on
Ted
there for
Bundy,
you?
interesting.
What else
He's
is on
good in that.
He was good, yeah, he played it really well.
He was good. I mean, that's mad, that film.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's mad, yeah.
I was like halfway through thinking, you got it wrong. Bundy hasn't done nothing. He's great. Great fella.
Just happened to be in every time there's a
Yeah,
murder.
every time they murdered. And then at the end, you're like, yeah. Probably.
I don't think that's on Disney Plus.
No, is it not?
No.
Have you heard they're making a Friends reunion on HBO Max? Because they're trying to obviously bring in
I
everyone.
believe so, yeah.
Big deal, that.
Believe so. It won't be the same because they're all old.
Speaking of reunions,
It loses its I don't know.
Luster.
Buster?
Luster.
Phil Collins. What's he got to do with it?
Making a remake of Buster.
Well, I don't know. That was a 1980s film with Phil Collins, I assume.
Seen it though, haven't
No,
you?
I haven't
Classic.
seen it,
Never
no.
seen it,
No,
no?
I haven't seen
Paints this guy out, Buster, to be the most like nicest bank robber or train robber you've ever seen in your life.
Bob Hoskins, isn't it?
Yeah. No. Phil Collins.
I thought Bob
It's not
Hoskins. Have you seen him in the same room? Question.
Yeah.
Have you seen him in the same room?
Yeah.
No, because he's dead.
Oh, all right. There was a time in the
There was
80s.
a time when they were
Well,
both alive.
they were in Hook.
What's so much Charlie Chaplin and Zac Efron, you know?
They were in Hook together.
Was Phil Collins in
Phil
Hook?
Collins
Was in Hook.
Was he?
I'm blowing minds here.
Where was he in Hook?
I'll tell you what, you go home and watch Hook.
Oh.
This is deep cuts. You go home and watch Buster.
Is this an Everton podcast? I just want to know.
Well,
This is what you got to do on podcasts. This is like the secret of podcasts.
people like it. I've told
People
you
like
this.
it.
Don't stop
People
us.
like
People
it.
like this.
Yeah, he's in Hook. He's got a
I
very
didn't know he
small
was in
role
Hook.
in it, but he's in Hook. So the guy plays is hey, did you see the ending? I don't watch EastEnders, but there was the ending of it was reminiscent of a Go Compare advert. That's all I'm saying.
That fella turned up with a moustache.
Don't-
Go compare.
They must be struggling for money. If that's
It was the
case.
first time I'd ever seen someone actually driving a car, and it wasn't just round the square. And there was
Sure.
this big crash in it,
There was a real car.
and it was a big crash. It was tremendous.
It's wonder how they have crashes in the square, because how do you have to speed when you go around the
That's
square?
There's nowhere to get up to speed.
Marty McFly had been had off, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
We
you
gotta
reckon-
go back. We can't get past the bleeding.
The Vic?
You're going to have to redesign it so it's 3 miles an hour we can go back in. You've got no sense.
Yeah, Buster. But going back to Buster, he wasn't a very nice man. There you go. I
He
mean,
was
that's
a very, very
he wasn't.
nice
I mean,
Ruthless.
let's be honest. He robbed
a
the
bank-
train.
he was a train
Robbed
robber.
banks. They're not normally nice people.
Oh,
But they might do, as long as they treat, the victims nicely.
Yeah, I mean,
Or escape to Brazil. You know,
See, here's another one that's typical of Britain. That
watch this. We're going to tie it back in.
The
winning goal scorer was Brazilian.
He went to Brazil, and everyone's Ronnie Biggs, and everyone sees him like he was some kind of hero. That's us, though, isn't it? Oh, the craze! What a set of guys! What a set of guys!
Characters.
One of them had a knife the size of like Johnny Depp's.
To be fair, though, they did police London well.
Oh. Has it all gone downhill since then?
It's it. It's gone down.
North of the river, they were fine. Everything was fine.
Listen, women could go out at night.
Richardson, South
to do what? Stand on corners?
No, just to go to shop.
It was the 60s. Everything was fine.
It was all good.
They were all walking around just like in Austin Powers, just dancing on
exactly. BBC yeah, it was all like that.
No, the best. If anyone wants to watch a brilliant representation of the 60s, the Golden Vision, I feel, is the ultimate representation of the 60s.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Alex Young.
Have you never watched the Golden Vision?
No.
You've never watched the Golden Vision?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
What is it?
What is it?
Yeah, I know it's a film. What
it's
is
a
it?
Ken Loach, for God's sake.
Okay, I know Ken Loach.
So it was like these afternoon plays, right? And it starts with this little girl, and they're like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "What's your daddy do?"
You're going to do the whole script?
I am. What does your daddy do? He plays for Everton. No, he's a footballer. What's his name? Alex Young. Who's played for Everton? And then he goes, and then next minute you go from like, and what it was the first thing that had real life things, but also a play behind it. It's like a drama. So it's got all these Evertonians going to London, and it's amazing because nothing's changed. We're all still moaning bastards, and things happen through it are amazing. Trying to go. There's a guy trying to get to who's at a wedding, and he's trying to get to Goodison, and the fella's taking a picture, and he's going, "This is uncalled for. This is taking far too much time." As soon as the last one, he just jumps in a cab and goes, "Goodison Park, please, mate." And you got to watch it. It's superb. There's a couple of choice bits of 60s language in it. Maybe not PC. That's all I'm saying.
I'll have a look on YouTube. I'm sure
it's on YouTube. It's actually where was I? I was in Liverpool Museum, and it was on the thing, and I just started filming on my phone, just like put on Twitter, and this woman come over and had a right go at me. "Can't film that, copyright, blah blah." I was like, "It's in the public domain. Sorry."
The museum's free.
No, but it's in the public domain. It's
it's
been out so long that it's now.
Oh, the copyright.
We could screen it right now outside, and
was it 25 years? Is it?
Golden Vision was 70, 60.
No. 25 years, and then it's public.
It's a bit old.
I think songs are 100 years, but
it's a bit longer than that.
Is it?
If all your books are 100 years, and then or for 60 or 70, whatever. So, trip to the South.
So Everton played Southampton on Saturday, which I don't. You know what? It was a lot. I was the last time I went was the 93, 94 season.
Lettice in his prime.
We won 2-0. We won the first 3 games of the season, and then lost the third, fourth, and fourth, fifth, and sixth.
Beakley scored.
He did. That was the last time.
That was the first game of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I was expecting that this dead long trip on Saturday, but it's dead easy to get there. It was just like literally on a straight road.
Horrible place.
It was.
Was the coach good?
It was very good, but as you can imagine, Southampton was like a very
efficient town.
No, the ground is like Meccano kit.
Yeah,
it's a Meccano kit.
Thrown up.
This it's like actually, and you know when people are like, oh, you build them now on like retail parks. No, this was built on an industrial park.
Yeah,
like Old Trafford.
Oh, it was horrible.
It's
like a big next one was big gas thing goes next to it. Horrible. But
sounds great.
It's not. They'd go down, and I don't even know half of them would be bothered. That was the general tone.
They cheered a corner. Well, shot, sorry, didn't they?
They all got a free scarf.
Yes, I listened to a podcast where we were talking about the free scarf as a... Yeah.
No, he was
maybe the money back next time.
Well, he was trying to give them back. Some fella with a big cob on at the end rolled it up into a thing, threw it like that, and it went 2 rows and landed. The camera was right on him. It went 2 rows.
Fell in front of him in the back of the head.
And he went, well, there's no one there. He went, turned on and walked away. I'm like, mate,
you've made
a big thing at that, and you've only managed to throw it 2 rows. But anyway, the game, obviously, he went back to the trusted Schneidlin and Sigurdsson. But to be fair to Schneidlin, I thought he, goal aside, I thought he done all right because he had legs with him, didn't he?
All you need to do with Schneidlin is say, you screen, don't get forward, just screen, let the fullbacks bow on. Right. And when he's allowed to do that, that's what he's effective at. And we don't often do that for whatever reason. In this game, he took instruction, he did what he was told, and that worked out well. And if he plays that role, you're fine.
Yeah, definitely.
Just drops in as a third centre-back.
I think you have let him off massively likely there.
Well,
but we'll talk about that in a moment.
No,
we started brilliantly though, didn't we? Started brilliantly.
As we always do, we start fast.
We were on the right foot. We always start fast, sorry.
Every game this season I've watched, we've started reasonably well. There's not been really a game where we're on the back foot when we start.
But again, he what I liked was he picked pretty much the right side. He never went... I keep on thinking that he might go, you know what, I'll have to go back to like Coleman, or I might go after Keane, but he didn't. He left Sirby in there, he left Tollgate in there. Obviously in midfield he hasn't got too many choices. He went with Shintosen up front, which... I can understand why, and then you watch him and go, I think I'll go back to... I'm going to Calvin-Lewin next week. But we started strong, and we got the set piece, and apparently Baz was telling me that it was a worked set piece.
According to Marco,
so that's good, and I believe him.
Well, if you look at the
Allgate's not heading towards goal. He's heading.
If you look at the West Ham game, we had the same thing. Corner comes in, flicked on, and Tom's on his own at the back stick, and he should score. Roberto saved it, didn't he? He should have buried it. And then at the weekend, the exact same thing.
For all his flaws, Gylfi doesn't have to take a good corner. I know he's good set piece.
He's good, aren't he? We know that.
And I think he should move to the NFL.
He'd be amazing.
Big kicker, yeah.
He'd be
amazing. That's the strength of his game, isn't it? It's the dead ball delivery. He's technically a fantastic footballer, but it's the other bits that are letting him down. But like you say, brilliant start, great ball in, good at flick on by Allgate, great header by Davies running in at the far post, and McCarthy's a big lad. To plant it past them that close, it was a good finish, and just what we needed, just settle everyone down. We're ahead, and can we build from there?
Mm-hmm. What I liked, what we watched the game this morning, is the pressing again. It was on again when we lost the counter pressing, triggers straight away in again, and when your team's struggling like Southampton are struggling, that's what you need. You need to get in amongst them quickly. Now don't be wrong, it could have been a bit much better, but the effort was there, the desire was there, and that's what you need to see away from them. We need to get amongst it instead of having this ebb and flow game where we let teams back in the second half as we'll talk about. But
no, I still think as a team we need to be more aggressive.
We do. Definitely.
I don't think we're aggressive enough, and I think that's what showed on their goal is the lack of aggression to get out and immediately be on a player's toes and say, well, you're gonna have to do something clever here to beat me, because he didn't have to do anything clever to beat Snydon. I've watched it again, and the way the ball goes to the lad, and Snydon looks back as in to say, am I doing this on my own? And I just thought, have a bit more, get out there. And I wanted to see that from a few more players, especially once they'd scored. There wasn't enough of that getting out and snapping at people's heels and making. They were so poor. And obviously, confidence-wise, they would have been low. And I thought, forced them into mistakes. Once you let a player, it's fine pressing, but I thought once you let a player sort of get that touch, they can pop it off easy then. And I just wanted to see a little bit more at times. First half, I thought we played well, and I thought, we've got to start being more ruthless in front of goal. That's the big thing that's missing.
Still creating the chance. I was looking at the chances we created, and still not enough. There's a couple of off set pieces. I think Mason had one in the second half of a throw, which he probably should have scored. And there was the Cenk one where Walcott did really well to flick it over the top, and he should have buried the header, but he just got on with it too much.
It was a good little move.
It was a good move, it was a nice but apart from that, Cenk flashed a couple of shots wide. But we had a lot of shots. We had a few shots blocked. To be fair, Gylfi had one which was probably good to win on goal.
Dom had one as well.
Well, and Iwobi had one that was deflected wide, didn't he? And still a bit better creativity, but much better than it has been in recent times. I thought we said 24
attempts,
a lot of blocks, quite a few blocks in that. But it was better.
What I liked in the first half was it was almost a shoot on sight thing, which is what I think we don't do. I don't think we do enough of, because if you're playing in a game and all the team's having loads of attempts, you feel like you can't get into it. You feel like you're under the cosh, whereas when everything's slowed down, Neville Southall was talking about in the studio about like at Goodison, why we don't get on top of teams immediately and have attempts at goal and get the crowd up. He said, if you let people have 1,000 passes at the back as an away team for the first 15-20 minutes, they're comfortable then, and then it's just a game. And that was probably what Southampton did to us. They allowed us to do what we wanted. So all of a sudden we just strolled, because our level was much better. Don't forget, both teams have gone into this with not great. I don't think we're in great confidence, are we? We're not in great form. They've had a hammer in the last time around, but you would have thought they were fired up. I heard lots of we rip our players for rally cries, but I heard Romeu, Danny Ings, Stevens this week going. Not Stevens, the other fella. blonde hair kid, Armstrong. We're going to do this. Everton, they're not in great form, they're not good away, we're going to be in the face. And Everton controlled it, and you know, we had the Tom Davis cross shot, which the keeper's had to tip out. I don't know why that didn't class as an attempt on target. In the top corner, he's pushed it over the bar.
It was the goalie's position was because I think because the way Everton as usual positioned himself for a cross, everyone did, and the goalie the goalie's positioned himself for a cross.
But we'd had that, and like you say, Gylfi had that shot. So we were, you know, we got to half time at 12 attempts at goal, and that's not bad for an away team. Yeah. But I think what Ped was saying, a lot of our build-up play was really good. But that final pass, the final third when you get into... Like, Walcott done brilliantly. Got round the back. And then it's his cross too close to the keeper. And, he done okay. And he's just putting it in the danger zone. But there was a couple of times Luca Dean got in with little 1-2s. And then the ball back wasn't the right ball. And it's just that if we do things a little bit quicker and more instinctively, we'll carve teams open. Seen Leicester on Saturday night against Arsenal. And their first goal, it was just fast. You seen that with our winner. Once it was quicker, it was in the net because they couldn't get set. But we went in at the break 1-up, and I suppose a little bit of disappointment was it wasn't 2 or 3 because it was that easy for us.
This is like a mentality thing with Everton. No, and this is what I said. It's like, I know it's a bit, obviously we won 3 Super Bowls, but similar thing where it takes them to get another goal for us to go, right, we're going to kill this game off now. We need to get away from that. We need to just kill the game off earlier because we're letting sides back in it far too often. But you know, at the end of the day, we needed a away win. I think that's why maybe Marco didn't go and aggressive because he didn't want to leave gaps in the sense that you just need that win away, don't you know, to get the monkey off your back as it is.
Well, we all sat here, didn't we, last week? I think it was. And Head was saying about Tosun's goal, it could be important, but we all said the same. If we'd have just dug in at a few more away games and just took a point,
it'd be nice.
We'd be in the top 10 now, and you'd go, well, all right, we haven't won, but we haven't lost either. Like Brighton, we should. I know we were robbed with the penalty decision in the Premier League. Have now confirmed that it was the incorrect decision, which is great because we don't get them points back. But thanks.
Sure.
But if what we should have done when it went 2-2 was dug in. We shouldn't have felt sorry for ourselves. You know, Graham Sharp. We spoke to Graham Sharp Monday, and he was like, at 2-2, why wasn't someone saying to Sidibé, don't press, or if he is pressing high, I'm going to dig in for him. You know, the communication, get what, you know, you're in injury time, protect what you have. And I think Everton, and I think particularly Marco Silva on Saturday, done a little bit more of that in the second half, was a bit thinking about the game a little bit more.
Managing the game. Said this before, goes back to like, and I've said this, I think I've said this on the podcast as well, it goes back to like the Millwall game in the cup. Silly little things like Richarlison not booting the ball down the pitch when he had
just
it.
Getting through
gets the ball taken off and they get a free kick and then they score. And it's like people go, oh yeah, buddy, this. It's like no, they can't. That's what I had the other week as well. I criticised Pickford for the and I wasn't really that arsed, but it was the England goal, the goal he conceded against the Czech Republic, and he tried to play this lovely little chip ball. 5 minutes to go, 1-1. England are like cruising the top of the group. They don't really need a win, and he tries to play this ball. He plays it, he floats it in the air. I can't remember who it was, the England player, but it got Danny Rose. He loses the ball. He's the left back, but he's 20 yards up the pitch. They run into the left back spot, cross it into goal, and people were like, well, what did you expect them to do? I was like, I expected them to put it up the line like it was rugby, like it was
play the percentages,
like it was, you know, they can't score. And you don't actually need to win this game because England are already top of the group. You put it right up there in the corner and it goes out for a throw. And you get your shape back and you go, you know what, lads, this is a really good point.
Have we got lost in the fantasy of football? And what I mean by that is...
That'd be a good TV programme, I think.
Sure, well, maybe we should do it.
It's a nice 90s version.
Have we got lost in you know, this thing of like we want to play this amazing football all the time when the reality is, first and foremost, Man City are a great side to watch, but they don't play amazing football all the time. And you know, if they were a little bit more conservative, they probably...
It's very patterns, Man City, you know, and they just rerun patterns throughout the pitch. So it isn't, as I say, like, it isn't always great to watch because certain teams are just blocking out.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
It's walking before you can run.
In people's minds, but in people's minds, I think they're looking for this first minute to 90 minutes, all of this amazing football, where football matches aren't like that. It's about winning a game. If you're 5 minutes to go in a game, there's nothing wrong with putting it in their corner flag and turning teams. There's nothing.
That's the problem. It's this idea of like, I know you can get to a point where you've got to be able to risk it all to win it. That's what City, Liverpool, Spurs were doing last season, and that's why Spurs were hardly drawn. You've got to be willing to do that, but you've got to get to a point where you know you're good enough to win those games. That's as you know, saying what last week in Spurs. Looking back, it's not a bad point that. If we got one at Brighton, that wouldn't have been a bad point. And as we said last week, we'd all be like, VAR's robbed us here, and it would have been confirmed that it would have robbed us. And then you've got something else to blame rather than the footballers or the football club, which is always better. And I think it's better to just be, at times. This is what I criticise, and I'm not criticising the manager as such for it, because I do believe it's a mentality just generally that knocks around. Martinez was the worst at it. At times, you've just got to be pragmatic. Koeman, actually, for all his faults in his first season, was set out to win the home games and draw the away games, and that was it. And at times it was a bit frustrating, because you'd be like, if we'd won that game, I remember we went to Middlesbrough with 10 minutes to go, we brought Gareth Barry on, and I was like, we could win this game, but he was thinking, no, we'll pick a point up here, and next week we'll win at home, and we'll keep the run going. And because he probably knew the level of his play, he was like, yeah, we could just win this game, but doesn't mean we're better than the team above us, if that makes sense. So let's just take the points. We'll get our 7th place. We'll finish in Europe, and then we'll start again.
That isn't a negative.
No, it's not. Boys made it clear.
Because in that Middlesbrough game you're talking about, I remember Adam Ola-Luckman missing 2 sitters, and Ron missed one when Tom Davies put him through in the first half. So we were playing to win the game, but there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with looking and going, 10-15 minutes left here. Things have calmed down. Let's take what we have. It's
understanding football as well. It's understanding that you might have had your best chances in the game, and now it's time to go, you know what, we've probably took a point, it might get a bit chaotic the last 10 minutes, they might throw a forward on, and they're at home and the front, so let's just take the sting out the game. And certainly early in the season, I think we should be doing more of that, and build up to a points level where, as a fan, you're like, well, we want to win today, because actually if we don't win, it doesn't really matter, it's not going to affect us. And I think that's where we need to get to now. You know, by winning that game, like you said, we scored in that game around the same time we scored against Brighton. And I actually, I said that at the time to one of the lads I was with. I said, now it's a mental game. Can they? Some of them will know that, and it's like, can they go on now and win the game? And we did. We were very, very comfortable.
That was key. That was absolutely
that's what I'm saying. That's
key.
all that matters.
The second half, you know, we give that goal away. You said it when we done the final word on Sunday, that the biggest mistake Schneiderlin makes there is not getting out to him quickly. He looks, because he doesn't really want to do it. He looks as if before he runs, he looks as if to say, is anyone else going? So he goes, he ambles out there, stands the lad up. If he goes fast to the lad,
that's can't do.
What can he do? If he goes past him, pull him down.
Shows him the space.
Pull him down.
He does.
But he doesn't. He lets him get. He does exactly what they done to Walcott in the first half. The lad didn't know what to do. Walcott knocked it and ran round him, and we could have scored from it. We didn't. He gets, once he's round Schneiderlin, they have a little bit of good fortune, because it hits Mina's heel and goes back towards the goal where it could have hit him and gone out, but it didn't anyway. So we had to bounce back from that disappointment. Then Pickford makes a good save from Ward-Prowse, but after that they offered nothing. We rode the 15-minute spell where it was a bit uncomfortable, but we weren't under loads of pressure, and the fear was, have we blown this when we were in control? That was the only thing. If an independent person would have walked in to either the stadium or watching on the telly and just sat down. No, I'm talking about.
You said independent.
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Like a fan of another team, right? In that spell, would have sat down and gone, Everton's still totally in control here. But us as fans are looking and going, we should have been 3 up. We've blown this, like same at Brighton. But what I liked was we got control of the ball again. Particularly Tom Davies started getting it, and you could see him rallying. And then the manager made 2 really positive substitutions and brought on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You know, Tosin, like you said before, Tosin done all right. Done okay. He wasn't amazing, but what he does is he lets the centre backs know they're in a game, and I don't think Dom does that enough.
No, he started watching sometimes.
So he has to. I think if he can put that into his game, I think he goes up another level then, because then you've got a lad coming on who can run. He's great in the air, and he's going to rough you up a little bit. You know, he's going to make you know.
That's his future,
and that's what it is. And he brought on Alex Iwobi, didn't he?
Injected the pace.
You know, and injected that little bit of pace.
I think that was the big thing, wasn't it?
And forward passing.
I think what it did was Dom held the ball up really well when he came on, so he was one option.
That's a soaking up a pressure thing. Having that man the ball sticks to up front. That's what
I'm saying. It was 2 different ways of playing. It was Iwobi running through, you know, going through the lines, and it was also being able to go long when you have to, because there was times, like, you know what, our centre-backs have got no problem going long. That's one of the things I really like. Holgate, he'll just put his foot through when he needs to.
Yeah.
But I know that was the thing. Iwobi started to probe then, and they had no answer for that. They were so poor in midfield, but they had no answer for that. And once he started making those little runs, and he had a couple that were deflected just wide, and
put that one great ball into Calvert-Lewin straight away, and the blocks on.
How many people can do that on the team? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
That's the thing. No, I mean, people.
But look at the weight of the pass.
He was in his stride.
Look at the weight. He didn't have to stop. And me and Ped said the other day, Coleman would have stopped that because it's natural for that's what he does.
Well, that's saying. I mean, you're right. The goal.
He would have ran to the byline. No doubt in my mind.
I'm saying the goal. He puts it right there. All the power on the ball that enables Richarlison to put it in the goal is because of the fact that Iwobi puts it into the path and he's running full belt. And you're right.
Peaceful cross.
Coleman, bless him. Would dare have just gone, I can't this first time. So I'm going to either go to the byline and I'm not going to beat the lad, or I'm going to check and go back. And you've took all the momentum out of them. And it's it's not a criticism of Seamus Coleman as a player. It's called age. It catches
but it's also called different types of play. His skill set is trying to get you one-on-one and just run with his head down. Where
he's more cerebral,
he looks a little bit, doesn't he? And I think the other thing as well, and I said this the other day, I don't know whether you noticed that, was Calvert-Lewin's run to the near post. Because he makes that run, they're looking at that, which gives Richarlison
which is key, because you need that space, and that's what you can't just stand and watch the ball, which is what we've accused him of doing at times. But if he makes that run, you create space, separation.
But you can do that though because the ball comes in early. When the ball comes in late,
they can set.
The player can set, and they're not on the run. By the time Coleman sometimes puts a cross in, the defender's not looking at his own goal. He's actually looking at our goal because he's already been, and he's facing the other way.
What defenders like a ball in front of them facing their own goal?
Well, it's still
terrifying, because why would you? If you were defending something, you don't want to defend this when your goal's here, because you're either going to try to slice it, it'll come off you and go in, or whatever. So because he puts that in, and like Ped said, no one's set. Dom makes the run, and I think Dominic knows he's not getting there. But that's why it's great play. So you make the run anyway. Two centre backs from both sides run with Dom, which means that Richarlison's faced up with the left full back, and he's ahead of him because he's switched on and he's looking. The lad's got to go this way where Richarlison's running forward, and it's a brilliant finish. It's a great ball, but it's a brilliant finish.
Does what he does best. I was going to say Richarlison, because that is what he does best, making those runs, getting in the box, scoring goals. He's so frustrating though. He's got so much talent, but is this like
you've seen that on the nutmeg after a minute?
3-4 times he gets in really good positions and he just makes the complete wrong decision. And that's not a criticism of. He's still a young developing player. You can just see if he can just get that 10 to
just aspects,
like 4 or 5% more, he'll be there. You know what I mean? And
there was one right at the start of the second half where we broke when you faced the lad up. He's in their box, and if he just delays, he can pick anyone. He just hits it against the shins, and you're like.
There was one where he crossed it to absolutely no one. Just went out, and was like, come on.
But
he's a great player.
Get him, what we've always said, get him closer to the goal. Get him closer to the goal. He's our most natural goal scorer, and he took the goal.
And that's why you can have a Dominic Calvert-Lewin, a Moise Keane, a Tosin who's not going to score you 15, because if you have a winger either side of them who's going to score them goals, much like Liverpool, Firmino's got the same number of goals this season as Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the Premier League 3. So that I know Everton fans want to strike it, but it's about a team play, and it's about building a team.
But it's little things like it is little things like the crosses from Sirby that
earlier,
early crosses.
Well, he'll get more goals, Dom, because he can gamble,
running from midfield.
But that's partly on top of that as well. As when you say we controlled, it was not it was a different type of control, because the possession percentage I think was 54.
Yeah, 54.
Yeah, it wasn't the usual 500, because what we were doing was going end to end instead of. Let's have to slow this down. And we weren't allowing Southampton to set. Same thing, because you get those early balls in.
We've said that loads of times, though. Control in a game isn't having 60% of the possession.
No, it's not.
Control of the game is dictating the way the game goes.
Exactly,
You can give the opposition the ball, but you can still dictate where they take that ball, and then how you take that ball off them. This is what great clubs do, or great managers do, is say, sometimes they say, well, you can have the ball, but if we take it off your here, then that allows us to spring.
That's what Klopp's made us so much of a success at Liverpool, because they break high. That midfield does all the work for them. They get the ball back, give it to the strikers, and they score goals. And I think Marco Silva's best teams, when he hasn't been in England, were predicated on a counter-attack and winning the ball high. And for whatever reason, we haven't always had that. But maybe because partly of the pressure in his job, but we need to do more of. We shouldn't fear giving the ball to Southampton. Same as we want Burnley to be on the ball more instead of allowing them to sit in and just soak it all up. And that's what I think. Hopefully, maybe we'll learn.
Because we can spring the press then when they're
one-on-one with them. Who's going to win that? You know what I mean?
That's the thing.
That's what you want because they don't want to defend in space.
What I thought was really good was when it went 2-1. We then had more chances to make it 3. You know, we had, like they said, a Wobie one that deflects onto the post. You know, that volley, we had one that spun just wide. Mason Holgate, that was at 1-1 though, but he didn't realise how close he was to the goal.
It was a weird throw that, just bounced. It seemed to have an hour to it.
He's just flicked it on, hasn't he?
He wasn't expecting the ball.
You're talking about in-game management. When Richarlison, because he did do Richarlison in the thigh, he had hurt him, and he had to go off. I'm thinking, just throw Gordon on now, just let him run at them. But he didn't. He made the weird sub now.
But what can I just stop you on that? Richarlison sub though.
Yeah.
And something I didn't notice at the game, someone highlighted to me, is that Tom Davis went over to the ref and started badgering him about Richarlison being down, because we were all like, "That Richarlison, get up! This is no time now." Because he had stayed on his feet most of the game. But apparently Tom had gone over to the ref and kept on saying to him, he's here, you know. No, and I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was really, really mature. Something that, you know, I'm not saying someone else should have done on the pitch, but because he's right next to the ref, apparently Tom was right in his ear going, he's injured, you better. And he did, he blew up for it. You know, he got the, Tom was really going. Probably saying to him, well, what happened last week? You better get over there and check that out, you know, and that kind of thing. I know what was nice about that was, it took the sting just for a couple of minutes, but it also got their fans fuming because of Richarlison. So it was a nice.
But it showed that he was injured because he was limping. He went off.
Honestly, everyone would like Gordon's comp, but you play the percentages. If you get to draw that game, let's be honest, everyone's come for the manager's head, and he's made the decision to close it out, which you got.
But that's what we're saying now, aren't we? We're asking for that. We're asking for him to go, come on, do it. And he went and done. He put Michael Keane on. Okay, my only worry, well, that's the worry, isn't it? The worry is when you're throwing a third centre back on.
How they're going to position themselves.
It affects.
I'd usually play in defensive, look deep, but defensive.
I don't like. I mean, I don't like throwing a third centre. But you know what? It's done it, didn't it? We had, you know, even in injury time, we had a couple of breakaways, and we just didn't, you know, play the right ball. But they had nothing. They had one free kick which they put in, got knocked down, we cleared it, and that was it, wasn't it?
Wins a win.
And to come away, you said it right at the start of this, and you know, no away wins before then. It's so key to get that away win. Ped said it before when we went 2-1 up. What are the players thinking? Hang on, we were 2-1 up last away game, we lost. Can we get through this section? Now they should be thinking we can win away. We've won our last away game.
Where's our next away game?
Leicester. But hang on, but Leicester
no,
City,
I'm not saying that.
Blow us out the water, but then again, you don't know.
They're flattered by that 9-0 still, I think. They're a good team, to be wrong.
They are a good side,
but I still don't think that. I was watching them on the weekend against Arsenal. For about 16 minutes, it was like...
Lacazette, if Lacazette scores that open goal, it's a different game. But, I mean, that's a different game,
I think we'll give them a good go.
And, you know, they will have the ball because of the way Rodgers plays, and that might play into Everton's hands. But that's in a few weeks, and, you know, we've got Norwich, haven't we, at home before then. So, you know, if we could beat them, then another wins confidence. But I just thought it was... a much... Mature performance, and almost like a steady performance. I don't want people come out and go, well, they were crap, and it's like, mate, we've lost to some crap this season. So, and let's be honest, the whole league's crap. So you can.
And I'd like to say as well, like in terms of obviously the manager, I suppose at 1-1 people were saying, you know, and people know my opinion of the manager, but I want to see Everton win games. I'm not really that bothered. The manager thing will play itself out no matter what happens. So the results are more important than anything. It's just I'd rather be, you know, I don't want to be involved in relegation scrap. I want us to get like, this league's really open. It's really terrible. So let's win some games. Let's not. This is the problem now. I think a lot of it's so week to week, moment to moment. Yeah. Let it play out and see what happens.
See what's what. In terms of Everton, if Everton can be 6 or 7 points off Europe in January when we've had that really tough spell, if we're only that far behind, 6, 7, 8 even, with, you know, the second half of the season, a couple of loans, players back, then that's all right. Okay, ideally I'd love to be 4th at Christmas, but listen, you want to be in touching distance, because if you're in touching distance you can still affect it. If you're 15 points behind it, you've got some ground to make up. So if we could beat Norwich, but we're 3 points off 5th at the moment, which is berserk.
It's a mad
but league, just on the manager, just very quickly, we have just got to let it play out, because this Farhad Moshiri will and Marcel Brands will make the decision in their time. If they don't think it's happening, he'll be gone. If he doesn't get in Europe, then who knows, he'll probably be gone anyway, because that's a name. But we can't keep going, well, this is good. What Marco will say, Ped said this the other week, if we beat Southampton, he'd come to that international block, the next one, which we're at now, and go, oh, hang on, I've played 5 games since the last one. We've won 3 of them. We're in the quarter-final of a cup competition. But the only game we've lost was because VAR interceded. And Tottenham, we had 2 decisions that the Premier League have now said were penalties. So we could be sat here with 5 wins, 15 or 4 wins and a draw. Okay, we're at 3 wins and a draw and a defeat. That's the way it is. If he does that over the next 5 games, then we'll be in a semi-final of a cup,
we want, and
we'll have got results. So we've got to get players back. We've got to get a bit of confidence back. And when you look at it like that, you think, right, okay, let's just let it play out. Let's get behind the team, see what's what.
The reason I want to let it play out as well is I look at it and think, the longer Marco's under pressure, the more likely you're going to be seeing we're not building on what we've got, because you're going to go, Towson's a good, decent player and all that, but he's not part of Everton's future plans. No. And Moise Keane's not going to be getting games time when Marco Silva's under pressure, because that's a byproduct of the Premier League, is that you don't play young players who could make mistakes, which he will naturally do. So if we get more comfortable, then you will see those players be given a chance, and you will see the team that we want to see. Andy Gordon, for example, maybe Benny Benigni, whoever else out of the youth team. But and I think the longer he's under pressure, the more unlikely that Everton are going to be building towards next season, just be cheering until the end of the season. So hopefully we can put a run of games together, and then we'll see what happens at the end of the season.
I mean, the big plus for this, Ped, I suppose, the last couple of weeks has been Tom Davies and Mason Holgate, hasn't it? Those 2 young lads have got the chance.
I mean, you mentioned it there. We're going to get to see maybe a more settled side, oddly, now because of the injuries and stuff. But it might turn out to be the best thing that's happened all season. And I think there's some players, Tom deserves to be in week in and week out. We've said it for as long as Tom's been in the side. But I think you're starting to see a bit more maturity from him. Mason's been spot on. He's made the odd mistake. But I've got no problem with that, because you know what? Kurt Zouma was making loads of mistakes this time last year.
Balance, isn't it?
He was making loads. I remember getting to about January and thinking, I'm not bothered. I sign him. I couldn't care less.
I really like Kurt Zouma.
Yeah, but did you like Kurt Zouma though?
No, I liked him anyway. So that's
I've seen his stats.
No, I'd say that was very big on him when he was at Stoke, because people blamed him for going down. But he looked but I'm about to say he did look terribly. He did look terribly rusty. It's like the start of the season with Chelsea, really rusty.
But that's what I'm saying. And
him and Michael Keane really didn't sort it out until really middle
that's
of the season.
That's what I'm saying. So really, and with Mina, I think Mina is.
Every game he plays, he gets better.
I look at him. No, what I think about him though, I think he's one of those centre backs that the person next to him has a lot easier day because he's next to Mina, and I think that really of all the players that Holgate has had so far next to him, I think this one might be the one that just complements him, that allows him to grow as a player.
He's an absolute monster. I just hope his English hurry up and improve, because for me, the captaincy would be between him or Tom Davies.
I don't want it to improve that much, because
he wouldn't be my captain, because I look at him and think,
you think Tom Davies is going to be
Tom
captain?
Davies.
I look at him and think, I'm all right with Dean being captain, but I'd love Tom to be captain. I don't think he needs to be captain right now. That would be so much. It'd be amazing.
If it does,
skateboarding captain.
No,
but I like that.
Just his armband and a skateboard.
Holgate, I think Holgate and Tom. This is where I know you're saying there you can't bring young players in, but these aren't young players. These are those young players.
No, they're not. That's what I mean. It's different than Moise Keane.
These are like 22, 21, 22, 23. Him and Dom. And I think now is the right time when there's. If we can get like into where we're going, where we get into the top half of the table, and you've got players like that who I think can drive you forward. You'd rather see them. I've said this millions. I've said this so many times. Why wouldn't you want to get behind those players? Everyone moans about these Snydens or your Sigurdsson or whatever. You can understand that. I still like Sigurdsson. I still like him. I just think he's been.
I'm sure he's a nice fella.
No, but I think he's been poor this season. I think I give him a rating for my player ratings on Saturday. I think it was the worst one on the pitch. And someone said, "Well, he wasn't any worse than someone else." And I said, "Well,
he wasn't better than someone else, though, was
his job was to create stuff, and he didn't create nothing." So
he does from corners and free kicks. To be fair,
that's funny.
That's what's
a dead ball.
This is why this spot bores me with him, and this is the argument.
I can take corners.
No, this is the thing with him, and people go, "Oh, he got 3 crease chances." He's great at corners.
No, but I like him. But the point being is that You can go, well, he's got a £45 million fee around his neck. Snarden moans about, I left Man United too early.
Great.
You know, these all got problems that you can look at and go, their reasons maybe to not dislike them, but go, oh yeah, you're all right. But someone like Tom Davies, you go, that's a lad who wants to play for Everton. Mason Holgate wants to play for Everton. You know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin wants to play for Everton. John Joe Kenny wants to play for Everton. And whether they're good enough or they're not good enough, we'll find out in the test of time. But that's what I'm saying, you're not going to find that. And I'd rather, if they're not playing, I'd rather have these lads who are, I think you get more out of them. Or you get like that 5-10% extra from them because they actually care. And this is the time you see that. Listen, Agent Durham said something on the radio the other day, and I agreed with half of it, and then he brought...
His name's Tom Davies.
No, he said Tom Davies can be amazing for Everton. He said,
yes, he
could be better than, and when he said he can be better than Steven Gerrard, that's when he ruined it. And not because he can't be better than Steven Gerrard, just because that was when you went, yeah, you're doing this, mate, so people will ring in, Reds will ring in and go,
why do you say he could be better than Leon Osman? That's
as
a barometer.
Why does he have to be better than
anyone? But that's as a barometer. Why? You go,
no, I don't believe in that. Why does he have to be, why can't he just be Tom Davies, and Tom Davies can be the future for Everton midfield?
I think he could have just said he can be one of Everton's most important players and he can be an England international. If he said that, that's not right, because listen, there's some players in that English squad now that you like. Fabian Delph, who's like got half a leg at the moment.
He's home now.
Has he come home now? Yeah. Well, there you go.
Is he done the most tactical injury? I fancy missing a couple of games because Klopp told me 2 games. Yeah.
You know, but what I mean is that bar isn't that high, is it? That's just like he could be good for Everton and he could play for England, and then that's something that is tangible. Once you start going, he can be better than Gerrard. There's no reason for it. You'll have a look when he's 35 if he's better than Gerrard. If he does half the stuff Gerrard did, so you forget about that. But I just think you're right. I don't know why people wouldn't want Tom Davies to succeed. I can't get my head around it.
Well, that was just going to 2 points, and both about Tom Davies really and Marco as well. In terms of Marco, what's frustrating me and why I've sort of got on his back is because he's acquiesced to people like Gylfi Sigurdsson Schneiderlin, where he should be playing his own system and players that fit it, whether they are Tom Davies or not. It doesn't matter what price tag, it's what fits your best
but what
system.
About me only counter?
No, but this is the problem. It is, and that's the problem for him, is that I suppose if he was in a job, because Everton always, someone did say that we're 3 games away from a crisis, if he was more secure in his job, then maybe he would. So I'll give him that in the sense that if Brands came out and said, listen, we're going to ride through this, blah, 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 then we might be able, then he's building something then, that'd be fine. Yeah. I still would like to see a plan, but whatever. And then moving on from that, I was listening to a podcast with Ian Graham, who is Liverpool's data scientist, and he was saying what they look for in midfielders, and Naby Keita in particular, is players who play balls into attacking areas. Now, what they said is, doesn't matter if they've got a 75% completion rating. They're putting balls in dangerous areas all the time. You look at Tom Davies, and people have gone, he needs to the ball too much. I'd rather Tom Davies try and break the lines constantly and pass it forward than some crab knocking side to side. And that's what people need to get off his back.
95%.
Yeah, these people need to understand that football is built on people breaking the lines and getting people into space. And without Tom in the team, it's too controlled. It's too formulaic. You need Tom in the team.
Are you going to make another point there? You said 2. You
I did make the.
You made the first.
You didn't separate them well enough there. What I would say, just as a side note to that, is though the club, you'd have to say to the club though, because when you think about it, when Brands talks about this wouldn't be a long-term project, we're going to bring young players into the team, you can see that actually starting to see. You know, you look at the pitch and go, there's young players all over, and we're bringing those players now that we said their careers had stopped. But what we need, or what we should have done to help the process, if we had a striker, like a 15-goal striker you could rely on all the time, that wins you those games of football when it is 1-1 or gets you that point, that helps the process so much more. This is where we ruined Lukaku, because we ruined the chance to bring blood players through, because he was always scoring goals, whereas we were just like, Lukaku scored the goals, don't worry about anything else. The whole of the back of the team's on fire.
Well, we brought Barkley through, we brought Tom Davies towards the end through, we brought John Stones in Malaga.
We didn't though.
They played every game.
It doesn't matter, we didn't bring them through.
No, but what we did with
them was we put them in the team and just went, there you go.
I think they'll be better players for it.
And then till we decided, we'll just sell you.
What the problem is, the problem with Lukaku was, We had a lad who scored 20 goals every season for 4 seasons.
We never built a team
and we finished 11th in 2 of them.
That's literally what I'm saying.
They didn't take care of what was going on.
Sadly, this is premature, wasn't it, really? Except for the 7th under Koeman, wasn't it? Yeah, but and my counterpoint to the 15 goals thing, and you're the striker, is who is it? Because how many strikers...
Isn't it?
Hang on, that's your job.
No, well, I'm going to say to you, and everyone will go, Diego Costa, he scored 2 goals this season.
No, I would have bought.
Well, he's going to say
Mandzukic.
He's going to say Olivier Giroud. And do you know what I'm going to say to Olivier Giroud? You'll slow the whole team down.
Yeah. He's the kind of player that...
We're best when we're fluid and when we've got 3 interchangeable forwards. When Charles played the front of the weekends for West Ham, that's why we were better, because we're interchangeable. Do not sign a number 9.
No, we should have...
No tradition doesn't matter.
Because the XG's doing wonders for us. It's not... Don't get me started on XG. It's the biggest load of nonsense ever.
I've got a book called XG Philosophy there by James Tippett.
I'm not very funny, like. I'm not being funny. Like, a room full of chimpanzees made that book. They just sat down and load of bollocks. Science cannot score goals. Science and
well,
theories
you tell them across the park who've made flawless transfers.
No, what I can tell about them is they've got 3 boss strikers. That's what I know.
When they bought the 3 of them, did anyone think there were 3 boss strikers? Mane was like a good wide player. Salah was
not a 9.
And Firmino wasn't a 9. So
trust me when I say that they're the best. They've got the best data people in the world. So data, it's a marriage of football principles and data.
No, but it's everything, isn't it? You've got to put it all together.
And so what I'm going to say to you is, Giroud is a really good striker, and yes, you could build it. You could build off.
Not someone having it. I wouldn't.
Someone at number 9.
I wouldn't have. Yes, someone that. No, because this is not how. See, this is the
Mateta,
problem. This is the problem. This is.
I don't mind Mateta because he can run.
Like, this is the problem. Hang on. Come on. You're all over. We're all talking over each other here. Right.
I know you're.
This is the problem with football, real football, and something that gets lost. Football, and this is where I say to you all the time, you can have all the maths and all the science and everything. If you don't have 11 players, you go out there and work their bollocks off for you, right? None of it matters.
Does Giroud work his bollocks off though?
Listen to what I'm going to say.
Doesn't say well.
Right? So, there are times when you need that player to come off the bench, no matter whether it would be a Giroud, whether it be a Zlatan, who someone will go. He's not though. He's not though. He's not good enough. You need somebody that other strikers can learn off as well, and you need someone. He's not though. He's not good. He's not good enough.
He isn't good enough. I agree completely.
So don't throw him into why I'm up. Then he's not good enough.
Play Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Right? No, but you can. But the point being is that we at the moment have got young players playing, and sometimes they just need a leader around them to just show them what's what, and that's what I'm talking about. You need leader, and because this is the big problem with Everton Football Club. The manager isn't strictly a leader because he's so young, and he doesn't have anyone on his coaching staff who is that experienced.
Leader be me.
But that's what we've talked about. We've been talking about in the week about Neville being a mentor for Pickford. Sometimes you just need someone at the club who you can go to and say, what am I doing wrong? And they don't lie to you. And that's what can happen when you buy good senior players. This is why I think Delph was brought in. And people go, he's always injured. But he was probably brought in to other midfield. And that's why that's one of the
standards he's brought in.
That's one of the big problems with Everton is because, like, if you say with Moyes' signings, you know, Baines and Coleman are most senior players in the ass. What does that say? And then Sigurdsson's not a leader, Snyder's not a leader.
That's the problem. This is
what I'm saying. Sometimes you need to go out, and we look at it now and go, we're not scoring enough goals, so we have to go. We should have gone and got someone who can be an example to the other people. And we've had all these stories, you know, Moyes Keane this week about him being late. It's nothing to me, but you know what? You need somebody who's on the staff, not on the staff. Sorry, he's a player to grab him, not one of the coaches. Because if it's a coach, he'll think it's like. We all know the teacher grabbed you in school. If someone tells you something, you go, you're an authority figure, you go, shut up you. But if your mate tells you the same thing, you go, oh yeah, because you listen to them. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's enough people at the club, whether it be the manager to lean on someone, and maybe that's where he's lost the assistant manager, for a player to just go to another player and go, come on lad, being late all the time. I'd have to say it in Italian, obviously, but you know, he'd say it to him and say, come on, this is stupid. You're leading by example. Where, you know, look what I do. Look, you know, good pros, and I think that's something we're missing. And I think if we had someone, and you know, you can go to me, well, Giroud will do this and Giroud will do that, and I'll go, yeah, but at the training ground, He'll turn up, he'll look like the dog's bollocks, he'll say to them, right, we turn up every day for saying this time, we do this, we do that, you stay afterwards. No, you don't get off. You stay afterwards if you want to be the best. You can go in and go, look, see that, what's that? It's called a World Cup medal.
Culture's really important. You are right.
These things get lost though.
But then there's other considerations, like if you bring in a striker, what do you say to Moise Keane on a Calvert-Lewin? Because their development. What
you say to them is genuinely. I agree with your point. I'm just answering it back. What you say to them is, you say, he's won a World Cup medal, right? But I want you in my team. Prove that to me. They're professional footballers.
Would he come here for that though?
You don't tell him that. You don't tell him that. You tell him. You go, we've got a couple of kids here. Right? You win every week. Don't
Olivier, meet the bench.
Don't bring your missus though.
Yeah.
No,
he's got to bring his missus.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You know, these things get lost in football.
I think we need a better version of Cenk Tosun.
We may do it. We may look for that maybe as a loan deal. Maybe, I don't know. You know, it's a fine balance. There's no one's wrong here because there's just different viewpoints.
I still think with Cenk is right. I'm not having a go with Cenk. I like Cenk. What I'm saying is though, I look at him and go,
why has she got shoe polish in his hair?
I've asked me. We've watched them train, mate. There ain't no shoe polish in the training. No. There's match hair and training hair.
There's no hair.
Cenk's though, but you need somebody who's. See, I honestly, right, I would have no problem with Everton, and you'll laugh at this, but I'd have no problem with Everton going to Zlatan.
I love Zlatan.
Right, okay, well, we're in agreement then.
Amazing at Everton.
I'd go to Zlatan and go.
10.
I'd go, yeah, here's a deal. You'll play X amount of games, he'd score goals, and he'd walk in the dressing room and everyone would go, Zlatan, and they'd go, and then he'd speak to Moise Keane because he speaks Italian, and he'd go, start doing all it, because this is what people like Zlatan, people get the impression that the knobheads and the cause havoc and all that. It's like you don't become people like them. Yeah, but even Eto was telling the other players.
He was trying to say train.
No,
that's the manager though. But that's the problem here. We've got a manager under pressure. Them type of personalities, very difficult.
But that's the thing. That's where a manager, and this is where, and I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and go, we need to sack the manager. But if maybe. Why, you know, you can give the manager a little bit of help then. And when I say help, I don't mean someone who's going to undermine them. Say to him, listen, is there someone we can help you bring in that you can just lean on? And that's where I think maybe he's lost that assistant manager. Might be a little bit of, put a bit of doubt in his mind. But I think you need those people all over the pitch. It's why it's good that probably Baines is still at the club and he can say these things to a couple of players. You know, it's when people go, no sentiment, get rid of everyone, but you still need to retain that little bit of something that people can go, you know, whatever. I'm having through this, and they go, yeah, I went through that as well at your age. This is what happened. This is what happened, and I think that's maybe where as a club at the moment we just need a little bit of something.
Well, then that's going to be up to Marcel Brands to change the leadership group over the next. You can't do it in one season because. It's very hard to sell a lot of players on a lot of money, so you're going to have to change it. You've got at the moment, you've got Baines, Coleman, who, whether you like them or not, they've been at Everton for a long time. They love Everton, so they're part of the leadership group. Then you've got the next level of players down. You've got Delph, Sigurdsson, Schneider, and in terms of age, then it's the young lads, and then exactly. I suppose you need to. But what's going to happen over the next 2-3 seasons? Those lads who are 23, 24 now are going to be the older players, and that's football's not a long-term project. That's the problem now, but that's what the plan is. I think, and I think what you're saying as well is I think because of what happened to PSV, Marcel Brands will bring in, or Brains will stay at Everton, and players will stay around. I know they do it anyway now, but that'll be a focus of the academy, hopefully. But like,
tremendous. No, I think you're both right with different viewpoints on it. I think that what we've got to just remember is that you've got to take a step back sometimes from the immediacy of football and go, what's more important, that we get it right. We're building a team. Marcel Brands said we might have some bad moments because we're on a pathway. We've brought in a lot of players, 13 players I think, that they've signed, Brands and Silva. So okay, ideally as fans we want to see this unit playing this way and it's dead clear. But what we're going to talk about next is obviously the Howard's Way film, but what that kind of showed me was it's not black and white, and stuff can happen by bringing one player in that can turn everybody else or give the manager that bit of space, and think all he's trying to do at the minute is get us to a level where everything just settles and then we can build again, because we're at a stage, you know, Neville Southall was saying the other day, brought another half a dozen players in this summer. It takes time for people to settle down, even people from this country, it takes time to settle down, let alone people like Moise Keane, who's a young lad out of Italy, who've done well last year, but you've got to let him just grow. And, you know, there's other aspects as well. So we're on that pathway, and results like Saturday against Southampton will give him a bit more breathing space. We beat Norwich, then everyone, I guarantee you, will then start going, well, we're only 2 points off friggin' Euro. Blah, blah, blah. Then we go into a tough run of games, but then it's sink or swim, isn't it? Players will want to play in them. Players will want to play in those games because it's test yourself time.
To be fair, though, them games probably suit us more playing against your Burnleys do at the moment. So,
of course they will. So let's just see what happens. Great win. Better in terms of game management. Better in terms of players. And then see where we are. We all feel a bit better because we're one win off fifth. So
there you go. As Baz said, we'll be back for part 2 to talk about the brand new, fantastic film, Howard's Way.
I thought it was called Dave's Way. Oh.
Welcome back to part 2, the final part also. There's no point for the part 3.
Yeah.
There's no game this week. So we can get into this. This week saw the launch of the new film, Howard's Way.
Everton Howard's Way.
Well, I think they've put Everton in there.
Because it's copyrighted?
No, just for clarification, just like when we do videos and stuff, it's always good to put Everton in the title. You know, people nowadays use things like, you know, they use a thing called Google.
Right, okay.
So, and they'll put
Tell me more.
So they'll put like, you put like search words in.
Oh, right, okay.
And when you put search words in, things pop up. So you might, if you put Everton in the title, someone goes and Google with Everton. Howard's Way. Yeah. Everton Howard's Way would pop up.
Wouldn't the series Howard's Way pop up if you put Howard's
Not
Way?
if you put Everton before it, and that would be the confusion, because you might start watching and thinking Howard Kendall was a yacht salesman in Southampton in the 80s.
Well, Bill Bauer didn't pay that much. Let's be fair.
Exactly. So yeah, it is technically called that. But we went down to St Joseph's Hall. The film had already had a couple of showings, in fact, and it is on fact all this week.
As well, didn't it?
The premiere at the Liverpool Film Festival.
Just the premiere, not a gala premiere.
No, but this was the main big.
This was the gala premiere. This was the big show where all the teams, all the players from the team would be there, and you know some sporting celebrities there. Tommy Bellew, Austin Healey was there.
Didn't he make a horrifying comment about the cop-outs recently? He did.
Probably but did. He was there.
I think he is the director's mate, Rob Sloman. I think he's his mate, because Rob does a lot of production, I think, for rugby union, so he might
does
know.
Sky, a lot of Sky stuff. So all the Europa League.
Yeah, so
all that stuff.
Speak to.
He does he does Buster's boat. There's a lot of work for the Europa League as well.
So anyway, so they've made. So it was a great night, and all the players were there, and we got to speak to a few. And we got to speak to a few that we, you know, haven't spoke to before or don't get spoken to very often, like of Paul Bracewell and Kevin Richardson and Alan Harper, and we spoke to Andy Gray and Graham Sharp and Derek Mountfield. So, and everyone else was there. The only people who weren't there were Kevin Ratcliffe, who, a bit sad he wasn't there, the captain, and Agent Heath, who's over in America doing the started transfer window.
It is, yeah.
So for Minnesota, so he couldn't come as well. But everyone else was there, and
Bailey wasn't there either. John
Bailey's on a picture though. There's a picture in the back room. No, with the green screen, and he's on that picture.
Well, he must have been there. Then, but why didn't he get him up?
But he said he wasn't there.
I know.
So I don't know.
Did they just go with the 14 that was in the team?
I don't know. I didn't think John Bailey was there, but if he's on a picture, he quite clearly was. I've never seen him.
No, he wasn't on the stage. So obviously, the film is primarily about building the 84-85 team. You know, there's mentions of 87, and there's mentions of what come before that, and there's mentions. The film's set up really well to. It doesn't go in, and become this like season review. It goes in there and builds up to sort of whatever had been before the 14-year wait for the trophy, and then something that sparks the 14-year. And you know, our mate Dave comes on the show quite regularly. He's featured heavily, as is Baz's son, who is in the film. He is available for other parts if you want a young boy to run.
Just expand on that.
Good at running and kicking a can. And
there you go.
And a telephone call.
Yeah. So
Hollywood beckons.
And then that moves through the 70s. You get a bit of Mick Lyons describing, you know, how bad it was, and then we get the 80s, and we get a bit of the social political stuff with the riots and everything, and Derek Hatton, and then we go into stage by stage as how it built the team and what it become, and it was just it's just fantastic. It's fantastic to watch it properly described and brought to life, rather than, as I said, just like a glorified season review. It's not one of them, but it's a proper, comes into all the different parts of what it was like to be around at that time.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It is incredible. You know, you see, goes back as far as Alex Young at the start, I think, or when we were in the '66 Cup, and it sets the scene of like how Everton don't, you know, do something and then it falls apart basically, which historically is carried on, by the way. But you know, and that's how it goes. But it is. I mean, there's things like, you know, people might know, but Howard Kendall signed 7 players in his first transfer window, and only one of them was magnificent. You know, and things like that. And but 2 of them were Neville Southall and Jim Arnold, the goalies who were very. Neville's obviously unbelievable, but Jim Arnold was
it's more of a project than Neville at the time when he signed him, wasn't he?
Yeah, he come from Bury and he was a young goalkeeper, and he got Jim Arnold, who Howard had at Blackburn, who was more experienced, and they had to fight the way through. I mean, Nev made his debut in a game that was on the big match. First time Everton had wore Hafnir on the telly, and we beat Ipswich 2-1. Gary Stevens scored, but Nev was in goal. That was his debut, and then he was out the next week. He played really well. We won 2-1 and he was out. So that was how it went early on. But it's great building it. But the big thing I took from it, and I said the other day, and I said to you, Andy, before, was that how it could have gone very wrong, how it wasn't so obvious. I remember it anyway as a kid. You know, it feels like yesterday, some of the games. And I was saying to you, Andy, that Coventry game, the Coventry game in the Cup was incredible. There's 8,000 of us there, and we come from behind to win 2-1, which was a massive thing because we weren't playing very well. That's all. It was before Christmas. It was at October time, something. It was the 3rd round. Peter E come on and changed the game. But a few weeks later, we have Coventry at home in the league, and the team was horrific. The team get booed off. There's petitions going around to get rid of Howard Kendall. It's been signed by fans. He had his garage doors daubed in paint. Get out of our club. And they're singing sack the manager and blah-de-blah. It was horrific. And you're watching this team that was garbage, basically, in front of your eyes. And yeah, 2 games later, win an away game and then go 18 games unbeaten in the league and end up winning an FA Cup. So it's incredible, and the stories around it are amazing, and you get to see that those players not only policed themselves, not only demanded the best from each other, but genuinely loved each other as a team. That's what I took from it.
It is, like you mentioned there, it's all about moments, isn't it? You know, there's moments like signing Peter Reid and Andy Gray, lead the ship in the dressing room, as I mentioned in the previous part. We
spoke to Bob. Remember when we interviewed Bob Latchford all those years ago back in the Minshall, and he said that Howard Kendall spoke to him, and it was between him and Andy Gray who they were signing.
Oh, yeah,
and he said, I thought I was coming back, and he chose to go with Andy. You know, but would Bob Latchford have had the same impact as Gray? Probably not, because Latch was a good goal scorer, but not a character.
But that was a very young team. People forget how young that team was, and having that bit of experience. But even on the coaching side, again, bringing in Colin Harvey was a masterstroke. Colin Harvey, who a lot of the young players had worked with, had standards that, because he'd played for a good Everton side and come through, and the standards had been set to him by good Everton players before that, good pros. It's having good pros telling young pros how things are done. This is what I was saying about in part 1. There's not enough of this goes on in football, and at times you need another voice as well. You need that. You know, it's funny with Colin Harvey, because sometimes I think the picture maybe from the outside is painted like Howard was staying and Colin might be the person to rely on, but Mick Heaton was probably the person he went to, wasn't he? Yeah. So you had Howard who picked the team, and Colin who was staying because he was taking all the training and wouldn't allow them any less, and then Mick Heaton who was maybe the person you went to, who maybe wasn't a great coach. And it just shows you. And Clinkard come up, didn't he? Who was the former physio. Do you remember Clinkard? Looked like Magnum.
Looks like Magnum.
I remember Mick Rathbone. That's where my most bad memory.
Christ.
No, I know, but there probably was a physio, but it was what?
Well, he was quite. But the thing was, though, he always stuck. But see, I was only young, but he was always, because he looked like Magnum, which was on the telly at the time, and he was like the same age as the players.
He was Tom Selleck.
Yeah,
basically looked like Tom. Because he was the same age as all the players. It was very unusual that we had like a. And he said the other day, didn't he, at the thing, he said, he got him on stage, like, because he was a really important part of it, and he said, we had like 50, it was like the team, then there was like the manager, 2 coaches, and the physio, and that was it.
They're much different now, yeah.
That was it. He said, so we all had to stick together, and you know, did have the kit man and the fella, and the person,
was it Jimmy Martin?
Jimmy Martin, when we drove the bus.
The coach.
He drove the bus. So, And that was important because Howard used to say to him, right, from an away game that they'd won, right, don't drive above 40 miles an hour. We go home slow, so we can all have a bit of a... No, so we can have a bevy.
Yeah, there's John Klinkard.
He does look like Magnum.
He does.
I
mean, not very good for a podcast, but sort him out.
Handsome man, fluffy hair,
he's a very handsome man.
Tom Scheller.
Look, so he was a big thing, and because he was young, and I'm saying that they drive home very slowly from away matches, so they could all have a bevy and
down the motorway.
Yeah,
not illegal.
Well, you've got to go above 50 on a motorway.
It'd be 50, wouldn't it?
Maybe they went on the A roads. I don't know.
You don't have to defend them. It's the statute of limitations is gone.
No, but that was the kind of thing that happened. And Klinkard was very. He said the other night he was similar age to all the players, and that made a big difference in some respects. And there was all that camaraderie, but there was only John Klinkard, Mick Eaton, Colin Harvey, and Howard Kendall. That was the staff.
It's much different now, isn't it? But that I do think it is important. I know people question Duncan Ferguson, just trying to bring it round to a sort of modern thing, is you do need an identity of Everton and what they represent, no matter whether they are on the coaching staff or an ambassador, wherever. It's just to bring those standards, I suppose, into it. And you look at Ajax, probably the best team ever who've done it, really, even Barcelona, where they've got players throughout the club who know what it's like to represent them, and that sets that standard.
I think we've always done it. I think the problem is, though, now, is that the generational gap is so big. But that's what I'm saying. So Duncan Ferguson did win something at Everton.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from him.
But then it's the generation after.
But then the problem, and this is the problem, isn't it? Is that, and it's funny because we always say the only managers who've won anything for Everton are people who've played for Everton.
Yeah.
It is something. It is something you.
Marco going for a quick sub appearance.
Yeah, get him on.
Yeah, they put a rumour out that he played for Everton in a trial game in 1992. No, but it is that though. It is about an identity. It is, and people will go, no, you need to get away from that. And I know, listen, younger people, I don't know how you feel, but we'll ask you now. But some younger people will say, you need to get away from this now. You're living in the past. You like them lot. Always about. But I don't think it is living in the past. I think what it is it's like it's celebrating something that was so good. And one of the things, because I've seen it as well, is people say, should get the players to watch this and the coach so they understand. And it's like, no, they should get the players to watch it and look at the fans and go, look at the fans' reaction when we score against Southampton. We're going to an FA Cup final, and we all believe we're going to win it, but we've got to win that semi-final. When we won it in extra time, it was that feeling of like, oh my God, we're on the verge of winning a trophy. And 14 years... I mean, it's going to be 25 now, but 14 years then for Everton Football Club was an eternity. It was an eternity. Clubs in the league. Because at the end of the day, right?
Trophy in every
decade.
If you were an Evertonian then, your dad would have seen you win something. That's how it's always been.
Yeah.
Your dad would have seen you win something, no matter what. That's what it's always been with Everton. Unfortunately, now people are looking at their granddads and saying that, and that's the problem. We're getting to that point. So. What's your take on it anyway?
For me, you always have to remember your heroes. I always think that the club should probably do more, and I think they should. I'm not saying you should bring in Peter Reid as manager or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but example Neville Southall, probably one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time, and let's be honest, top 10, top 5, whenever you want to
the greatest for me.
For me as well. I wasn't even around, but when I've watched Neville, superb. He's a resource that Everton should be asking. Definitely. I'm not saying he's going to be the goalkeeper coach because he probably doesn't want to be the goalkeeper.
No.
But just him and Jordan Pickford, Jonas Lossell, Harry Tyler, whoever the youth goalie is, just a video session a week with Nev would make a world of difference. And I'm not saying that Nev is going to transform, but that experience is something you lean on. And as I said, Ajax do it well. Barcelona have got Patrick Kluivert now running the Messiah. And I know we have those players involved, but these are players at a different level. What we're talking about now, Neville's a winner. He's Everton's most winning goalkeeper, really. There's a difference between him and his knowledge, and he was one of the best in the world. He understands the game. That's the key. Neville can teach as well as talk about the game. That's a difference. Not everyone can do that. I do think there's certain things that Everton may need to modernise itself away from. That's more in terms of the playing style and what we should do, but that's by the by. That's a different conversation. But I do think that we should look to the past, and I do think we should hold up what they did and what because I would love to have seen that. To me, I wouldn't. I've seen good Everton teams, but I've never seen a team win anything consistently. Like I've never gone into a season and think, we're one of the best 2 teams in this league. I've never had that. And when Liverpool and Everton were the best 2 teams in the league, it was tit for tat every season, wasn't it, if there was 4 or 5 years. And I think there's a lot to be learned, and I think the players should watch it. And I'm not saying they're going to, a lot of them won't understand it, but there's something to be learned, as you say, the reactions of the fans, the camaraderie, the standards set by the senior players in the team, and just how you become champions, really. Because you look at the modern Everton team now, and I'll move the manager out just for a second, because Marcel Brands is obviously the one who's creating this sort of ethos and this philosophy. He's building a young side. Now, this side may not be ready now to get the big time, which they're not. So it's going to take a couple of years. Now, Howard did the same. If you look at the team in 82-83, it was 23 years old, average age, 24 and 84-85. So it was building. You obviously had Peter Reid, who was 26-27. Neville Southall was a tiny bit older, and Andy Gray was obviously old as well. And you still had Davy Johnson knocking around, I think, in those early years as well.
Yeah, he ran in 83, 84, didn't he? So
you had that experience, but you also had those young players coming through, and what was going to happen is they were all going to be in the prime together. And I think you look at the Everton team now, is that you go, well, Tom Davies is 22, and people say he's not good enough, whatever. But in 2 or 3 years' time, Tom Davies is going to be in his prime. He's going to be ready. Now, I think some people like us to bridge the gap with experienced players, because football's not a patient game anymore. Back then, a manager would get minimum 2 years. Very rare a manager, Brian Clough, would get less than a year as a manager. And that's the difference. That is the change, and that's obviously you have to apply modern thinking to it. But there is lessons to be learned.
I think the elements of having mentors and things like that is hugely important. As you said, like, you shouldn't be scared of your past. You should, I think Roberto Martinez, when he brought in Howard for that occasion, that time he brought in Finch Farm. He'd never been to Finch Farm. Moyes had never welcomed him, and I think Moyes was like a little bit scared of the past and what it represented. And that was one of his failures, but Roberto wanted to embrace it. And I think you've got to have a little bit of that. And I know we've had, like, when David Unsworth was given the job and he had Joe Royle in his ear and things like that. I think you've just got to have it running through the club. We watched the Dortmund documentary, and every position at the club seems to be filled with someone who played for the club. And then they have Salmon, who comes in as well as an outside technical advisor. So to basically say, you may all be a little bit too close to the club, so I'm here to tell you what you're sort of not seeing. So I think certainly someone like Neville would be amazing for the club. But I just think as a whole, I think it's important to, because the whole point of this film is saying that this film for everyone else and not Evertonians. This is to show you how important this team was, how good this team was. And maybe that's why we go on about this team so much, is because it doesn't get the appreciation from everyone else. Where some young people might go, stop living in the past. It's not a case of living in the past, it's a case of the club, again, being overlooked by other people and other people's teams who are not as good as Everton getting more credit than they deserve than this team does. And I think that's why we hold them in such high esteem. And maybe once this film's out and out there, we'll all go, job's done now. We've given it to the world, and if they don't appreciate it now, that's up to them.
But it's also, for me, for Evertonians, younger Evertonians, standards. Where does that standards come from? I've heard loads of Everton fans saying, we shouldn't look at ourselves a big club anymore, just be happy to be in the Premier League.
It's the FIFA generation.
And you're like, yeah, well, that's it. So you go, what are you talking about? Be happy to be in the Premier League.
That's the sort of malaise that's setting over the club, and there is that generational gap between the fans. Now I'm in the middle, and I obviously experienced the 90s, Jesus. And I think that's the problem, is that you had that 90s period, and then what David Moyes brought into the club was just safety. And I'm not saying Moyes he was a good manager, but there was just that there's an element of comfort with it. And I think people got into that one, and that's why they aim for that safety again. Whereas, the clubs, I think, you hope that you think the clubs wants to be ambitious now, and we are taking maybe more risks. It might take time to bed in. Marco may or may not be the right man, but it's going to take time. It's not going to be quick, because you've got a project that failed under Koeman that's now having to be fixed. So it's delaying.
If you take yourself away from it again as an Evertonian and you just look objectively at the football club, right? Yeah, you can criticise quite easily and go, bloody hell, they've spent a lot of money. Look where they are. But you actually look at it and go, right, let's have a look at it. This is a club that's moving to a new stadium on the Dockland, on the waterfront, city centre. Incredible. And it's also a club now that's employed a sporting director 18 months ago, 16, 17 months ago. They've got a young manager, 42 years of age, so he's a young coach, you know, with 12 or 13 new players within that squad. So they're building something. You would look and go, they're building something there. They're trying to get the team better and better so that when they get in, or as they're approaching Bramley-Moore, it's a team that's established with younger players who they can sell if they need to and make money and reinvest. And it's a team that will hopefully grow together with the manager so that when Bramley-Moore comes, Everton are established as a team that's top 6, top 4, whatever, or trying to get in there, who's fighting at that end of the table where we all want it to be. So when you look at it like that and you step away and you see their idea is a project of 3 or 4 years before Everton are where Marcel Brands thinks they should be. Well, we're 16 months into that, 17 months into that. Now, results are massive. They are. I'm not going to sit here and go, I don't mind if we lose every week, because of course I do. Results are big, but we can't underestimate that there is a project that's ongoing, and there's a lot of plus points. And again, this film, and I said it I think in part 1, but this film shows you that even though at times and you're sat in the stands and you're looking and going, this is crap, whatever, if you actually look at the quality of player, it might just take 1 or 2 to knit it together. We're very, very close to having a good side. I think I look at us, I've said it all season, haven't I? I look at other teams who are above us and I go, our players are better than what they have, and yet they're above us. Leicester are a good side, but I still think Everton have got better players. They've got key players like Jamie Vardy, who I'd love to have. They've got Tielemans, who's a good player. Maddison's a good player. The right back is a good player. Yeah. So they've got good players, and Diddy, fantastic player. They've got good players, but other teams as well. So we're on that path. If we can, and again, Ped said it before, an introduction of a Colin Harvey or whatever it may be. Neville Southall fully credits that team by the signing of Peter Reid and Andy Gray. So we used to say Everton won't pick up 2 of these players that just bring the team in, and all of a sudden, could be Jean-Philippe Gbamin could come back, and next minute he's like in Diddy and our midfield. We don't know, do we? So that's what this film brought to me, is that sometimes things might be closer than what you think. I don't know whether this, I'm not saying this team will turn into that team, but
you look at it as well in terms of, we talk. I think we've talked about it in the past, whereas we aren't probably at that stage yet because we're still building a squad where we need to just add those 2 players you talked about. There's still a chain from what was previously there to what they're building. And I'll forgive Mark away in the sense that maybe that's why he's having trouble bringing his own style to it, because he's got this team that Koeman built in a lot of ways, that's built for 2004 to play against Chelsea, Mourinho's Chelsea, because it was physical, wasn't very quick. You've got Sigurdsson, Schneiderlin, Michael Keane, and that really doesn't equate with what you've seen at Marco Silva at Olympiacos and Sporting Lisbon, where they were very fast transition heavy sides, where they were predicated on one-on-one, 1v1s, and that's what if you look at the summer business, that's what we would do. That's what we both gone.
I was just going to say, though, I think you have to recognise your own failures as well. I think that's an important thing. I think that comes out in the video, in the film, after we get beat 5-0 by Liverpool. And that doesn't say it allows him, but that's where he goes, no more of this. Brings Gary Stevens in, brings other players in, and then goes, you know what, this is mine now. But you've got to recognise that. He bought the Magnificent Seven, only 1 lasted. The other six just went poof.
It was easier though to get, because we got Mickey Thomas is in that Magnificent Seven, and yet he refused to play a reserve game in October and was gone.
Who else was in the Magnificent Seven?
Mick Ferguson, he was 6'3" and had size 4 feet, which was never going to work. Mick Walsh, he was a journeyman centre back. He was okay. He lasted the season, then we moved him on, but he was all right. He was just a stopper.
That's trial and error though, isn't it?
Like Mickey Thomas had gone. Jim Arnold, Neville Southall. Alan Bailey, who looked like Rod Stewart, his debut, 2 great goals, chipped the keeper, beat Birmingham 3-1. Everyone was like, oh my God, he's amazing. He was gone. And Alan Ainscough from Leeds, who was a decent footballer, decent player, wasn't amazing, although it's funny because they say Kendall sat there and go, look who we're bringing in next at this press conference, and they walk in and everyone's like, fuck's that? Who's that? And he was gone. Alan Ainscoe's a decent player, but he was gone as well. So out of them, like Ped said, there was 1. So 7 players, even in them days, there was 1. I said to you before, Gary Stevens he thought he was going to have to ask to leave because Brian Burrows was in his place, and he come through the reserves. Gary Stevens through the youth team into the reserves was in and out the first team. We get tanked 5-0 by Liverpool at home. He's in the team. 2 weeks earlier, he was thinking about leaving. Never saying us. Sharp asked for a transfer about 9 times.
Ratcliffe when Glenn Keely.
Ratcliffe thought he was going to have to go. So
is that when Mark Higgins was still fit?
No, I think Higgins was.
No, Higgins was. He was still around Mark Higgins,
but he wasn't.
But he wasn't in it. You've got like Billy. It was Billy Knight who was.
Glenn Keely came in alone from Blackburn.
Yeah, we got Keely in from Blackburn. Didn't play Ratcliffe. And he last 19 minutes, we get beat 5-0. So there was those moments.
Did he ever play again?
Keely? No, that was it. 19 minutes he got rid of him. In fact, he terminated his loan a week later, I think, or something like that. I think.
Mr. Glenn Keely, another podcast.
He went back and got a big beard for Blackburn. But there was those sliding doors moments in.
But it is recognising your own mistakes as well. It's being able to go, I messed up there instead, because I think nowadays it's like the whole thing. It's like society's thing. Instead of going when something's up and people know it's up, they just keep going along with it. Going, no, I've made my mind up. I can't change. I wrote it on Twitter. I can't change. I can't change it. I wrote it on Twitter.
Be wrong. There's nothing wrong with
that's what I'm saying. But people don't want to be wrong now, and we see it in football where people persist with things instead of going, you know what? And actually, that's what I'm credit Marco with recently going. Nah, get him out. Get Coleman out the team. Sigurdsson out the team, get Snyder out the team, and I'm going to play my team. It took him too long to do it, but he did finally say. And again, and even taking Keane out the team, you told man going, I can't do that. He's just brought Siddiby in, and he's going to put a young lad in, and then he's got, all these changes at once. But he's gone, no, I'm happy doing that, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to know your own mind and be able to go, I'm powerful enough at this club. And when Howard was in charge, it'd be a lot easier. He hasn't got anyone above him. The next person above him is Jim Greenwood, who just like signs the contract Jim. End of the day, innit? Contract Jim at the time. And above him's John Moores or
we have Philip Carter who really believed in him. John Moores was there. Don't forget, right? And John Moores demanded Everton be the best. He demanded it, and that's what we're talking about, right at the very top.
He could have demanded something else, but we won't talk about that.
He could have, but no, John Moores, I'm saying.
Oh, no, so not Philip Carter. Sorry.
But what Philip Carter did, which you have to give him credit. There was other stuff he should have done. But what he did was.
Why did he accept the night?
What he did was he backed Howard Kendall when a lot of people were calling for him.
Because those cushions are not cheap.
When a lot of people were calling for, and it would have been easy to just go, yeah, you're right. The crowd aren't even coming through the turnstiles here. It's because the football's that dour. And 2 weeks later, with 18 matches unbeaten.
I think the difference, obviously, it's quite different now. Obviously, with Marcel Brands, I think what Everton fans need to do is obviously let's see what happens with the manager. Either way, it's going to be whatever happens. But we need to give it time in the sense that it's going to have to play out these transfers, because let's be honest here, we sign these players and it's either you complete the project and sign the rest of the players that you sign to complete the team and then see what happens, or you rip it all up again and we end up back at square one.
I think what's got, we're in and out of this film, I know we are, but it is that idea of if Marco doesn't want someone at the club and he doesn't see value in the club, then make sure you get it known. Then you don't want to play. It's a lot easier back in the day. You only had 2 subs. You had who you needed, and everyone else was gone. And if they weren't playing, then they were gone. That's a classic case of Andy Gray. You're not playing, so what? You got to make a decision. And he made the decision to go, which he said he shouldn't have done. But now it's different because if you're not playing, well, I'll just go and sit on that bench with those other 7 people.
But look at Graham Sharp. Sharp said the other day, he thought he was going to have to move on. Everton are bringing in Andy Gray, 8 and each there. And he's thinking, I might have to move on here.
That's the problem now as well, is that back then, it wasn't all, but the finances were different now. It's like you've got depreciation assets sitting on the bench, and you've got to use these players because they're earning money, and there's none of this that's banished from the reserve team until I've been them off in like 6 weeks because the transfer window's also playing here.
Cuco Martino.
Well,
Nias will be gone.
Nias has got a new passport, hasn't he, where it means these youth team players,
he'll be gone at Christmas, won't he? They're just getting him fit now to go. And that they'll be too up to do.
No, but it's it's a brilliant.
It sounds good to me.
It's a brilliant film, and it'll just make you know what doesn't happen enough. It'll make you appreciate being an Evertonian.
It'll make you proud to be an Evertonian.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, and that doesn't happen enough. And there are reasons for that. And some of the reasons you can actually watch some of the reasons do happen in the film, but some of the reasons are you see in the film.
You could see out of our own hands.
Well, no, not just that one. So what I'm saying is that there's things you see in the film that you just don't see Everton do anymore as a football club in terms of how they come across. You know, you can see Howard Kendall. It's the way he conducts himself. Even there's a couple of interviews when they've just won the European Cup and his cup, and he's not like, oh, you know, singing and dancing like, you know, with his cap on and his glasses or anything and a beard. He's basically standing there going, how long's this going to take, because we've got a plane to catch, and he's thinking, I've got to be on that plane because I've got to get home because we've got a cup final on Saturday. He knows what's going to happen. He knows what's going to happen on the plane. Everyone's going to have a berry, but he's thinking, I ain't missing this plane for you. I don't give a monkey's who you're at. Whereas now there's not enough of that. There's not enough of that. We come first.
Control.
And this is football all over, by the way. This is not just an Everton thing. But that's like, but say the people at the top don't at the teams at the top at the moment don't worry about things like that. They don't let anyone push them round. And I just think for too long as a club, we've bowed down to what other people expect of us. And sometimes the club have bowed down to what the fans expect of them and gone, no, we're doing this. And I don't care if you don't like it. This is what we're doing. And you'll see. And maybe, you know, you're talking about brands. That's what brands sometimes maybe do, is that you go, no, this is for the best of the club. You might go, I fully back Marco Silva. I can see what he's trying to do for all those reasons you mentioned before.
The thing with Silva is, I think he does like him, and I think, I mean, hard working manager in for hours. You know, the last two managers were gone by 2. They were lucky if they were around the Finch Farm by about 2 o'clock.
One of them never took training, did he? According to some players.
Well, he didn't, did he? And this one's here till 6 and 7, and he's a hard worker. He wants
He's
it.
a football
He really
obsessive, isn't he?
wants to do his very best for the club. And Howard Kendall was like that. All right, he liked the bevy and all that, but he was always thinking about Everton. He always... listen, it's in the film. The players say it, so it's not a thing.
Well, it was a culture then, though, that I think the players...
They're still like that now. We got in Monday and they were like, how long's this going to take? You want to get on the out? They were laughing and all that, but they wanted to go and bevy. But that's how much... And the one thing that they took away, but said a couple of times in the film, is Howard Kendall said to them as a team, and what was really prevalent in the film. Oh no, sorry. What's really pertinent in the film is that we've just seen Andre Gomez injury last week, and how Everton reacted to it. Yeah. It's shown in the film, the agent tackle, and then what Reed does.
It's not just that later.
Though. It's the fact that Kendall said to them, if you're out in the pub as a team and someone starts on one of them, what are you going to do? You get round them and protect them. And so you do that on the pitch. Yeah. It shows a fight.
That actually drive me mad.
Shows a fight at QPR where Van den Hau's in and Gray's about to get it by...
Just Van den Hau on as well.
Gray's about to get it by Simon Steindod, and he's in it.
It just annoys me. I was watching and I was annoyed thinking about it, because I was watching it thinking... and it's not a case... I know people go, you can't do that anymore. Of course you can't do that anymore. Of course you can't take retaliation out on a player if they do your player. But you certainly don't go over and start hugging them and then going into the dressing room to check if they're all right. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. You don't do that. You stand up for your team before anyone else. You put everything at your football club and your players and your fans before anybody else.
The tackle by the...
And at the end of the day, this is sport, right? Right, Son will be fine. He is fine. Right.
That Canceling's great.
Oh, he's fine. We've got a player who's now out the team. I mean, he still looks good in that new training gear, by the way. Yeah. I mean, fair play to him.
And the suit.
But the point being is that's what he was saying. You know, there's a picture and they haven't got footage of it at QPR where it all went off. And he said everyone was involved apart from Neville, who was sitting on the post.
We wore that day. We had that top on, blue shorts and blue shorts.
That's the yellow top.
The yellow top. Sorry, if you're listening. Sorry, the yellow.
And Kevin Sheedy's on the side because Kevin Sheedy did not like a fight.
No.
Even with his own players.
Is this the Mark Owen story?
So that shows that everyone was prepared to jump in. Yeah, I don't, and people have. I know people have different opinions, but when I see players standing round and there isn't, and no, it is. You can't fake it though. Maybe that's just the problem. You can't fake it. This is because kids are brought to now, and it is all softly. Yeah. When you watch under 18s and they don't touch each other, and you're a pariah if you do put a tackle in and. That's the problem. It's not just why they get time to get to the first team. They all know each other because they did a boot shoot for Nike last week, and there's no, whereas in them days it was like I mean, Mountfield, you seen him come off the semi-final, and he's got 2 black eyes, and he says in the thing, he said, when they took McPartland off, I was made up. It freed me up because all he wanted to do was fight.
He's got a cut, his nose, he's got black eyes, his lips cut.
There's a game where Adrian East tells Andy Gray that the centre-back's bullying him, so Andy Gay goes, fine, I'll sort that for you, mate, don't worry. And it's like, that's what you had to do back in those days, protect yourself first, win the battle, and everything else followed. Now, I'm not saying that's what, it's not like that now, of course it's not, but it's getting that spirit where it's everybody in the club against the team you're playing with. So this, I'm not, know what, people can say what they want, but I think what Seamus Coleman did last week just burns my head out, and that's as far as I'll go in criticising, but it absolutely burns my head out that he done that. It really does, because I'll say no more, because if I do, I'll get myself into trouble.
Don't. It's done. It is what it is. But that does show you in that film how much they how much.
If you're watching on the video,
how much they get round each other, and it's still there now. They still talk about it now. They talk about Alan Harper and Kevin Richardson and how key. Every one of them says, without them two, we wouldn't have won anything, because they were key. Southall said to me that on the interview we've done, which will be out on Patreon, was like, how important, how good professionals were they? They wouldn't play for a month, and they'd come in and be man of the match, and then they'd be out the team the next week. Kevin Richardson would come in, score 2 goals and be dropped because Sheedy was fit again. And they both said, we went up to Howard and was like,
Sheed's there last
why
night?
aren't I playing? Yeah, Sheedy was
Sheedy
there. Why aren't we playing?
Twice.
We did. We were there. I was good as when he done it. When he filmed.
Famous phrase.
But, why aren't I playing? And Howard was like, well, he's better. You just have to work hard and try and get it. And they just went, we just looked them, and so, yeah. Andy Gray says I was frustrated because I wasn't in a team, but they were tearing it up, Heath and Sharp. I couldn't say nothing. I just had to wait for me chance. You know, when it's that desire about wanting to be better, Neville Southall, I get in at 8 o'clock, I dive around in a sandpit for an hour and a half before training.
That's what you used to do?
Yeah.
A sandpit?
Everyone had a sandpit at the side of the thing, up next to a wall, and you whack a ball at it.
I hope there wasn't any cats about.
Diving, but he'd do that, then he'd train, and then he'd go and carry on and do his own training.
I really want to see a video of Nev full pelt diving around in the sandpits. It'd be fantastic.
I'm sure there's an equivalent of it now. They'd have a Tingo one them, wouldn't they? Like a
oxygen stuff,
like a bungee thing. So
did you do that? Yeah.
They do them things where you hit it in the ball, the flex, don't you?
Ball walls, yeah.
Well, he tell a story. I mean, I was telling you about that training session I'd done with Nev and Golden Banks when I was at Everton, but they tell a story, the players, about shooting, and they were like, they hated it because you'd just be heading the shots away. You'd be whacking it sharp, or saying you'd be like other goalies, you'd score, and it was good. He said, and I think it's Kevin Sheedy or Trevor Stephen or Sheedy said, he made me a better finisher because I had to put the ball in the top corner for him not to get. He said it, so it made me score better goals because he was that good, and that was what they demanded off each other. I just wonder nowadays if if a player demands something off his teammate, not just at Everton, but just in football in general. But if you said it the other weekend, when you got told to leave the team and you walked off with a cop on and you had a couple of weeks sulking, but you were
on back to them, by the way.
Well, you haven't
I've got a new team now.
Yeah, no,
and they love it.
So no, but you've got your own.
I got man of the match in the first game. Honestly, just everyone was like, "Who's this? Who's this young man?" Because I was young compared to all the rest of them.
Is this walking football with 60-year-olds?
Hey, go on then. You have a game of walking football. Get out your Delta.
As I'm saying, you from playing football have got your own standards of like what you want because you want to win. I used to run a club, and literally everyone who played hates me and still do. We won trophies. Well, they all hate me, but we won trophies.
What about people who haven't played for the team?
They hate me, but they haven't got trophies. They haven't got trophies.
No, but what I'm saying is you've got those standards. So I just wonder.
Wasn't a kids team.
No, it was a men's team.
Did they all hate you? What were you doing to them?
I was
demanding.
I was demanding. When I run a team. It was an Everton fan team. We went all over the northwest, and if we didn't play to how I thought we should play, I destroyed them in front of people. And you know what? I look back and go, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then I go, well, here's all the medals to prove that we've done it.
Where's your medals, lads?
I seen something.
And whatever level you're at, that's what you should have done, man. We had to go to places like Accrington. We had to go to Rill on a Wednesday night. Who wants to go to Rill on a Wednesday night?
Not Lionel Messi.
And we beat them 2-0, and it was brilliant, and they were all going mad, and I thought they were going to barricade us in.
How'd you play people with 3 arms?
As I was saying, I seen something on Mourinho and Olivier Decourt interview. And Mourinho was at Inter Milan with Mourinho, but he was coming to the end of his career. He said that I never played. He said he never played me, but I had so much respect for him because you didn't mess with him. said he was you listen to that, you know, that thing of that demand every day. He said I tried my best, I improved by training under him, but he hardly played him and whatever. But he was saying those demands there, what this 84-85 team did was demanded of each other. So Colin Harvey set the standards. You do this, you do that, you know, a winner. He's played for the Holy Trinity, the greatest midfield, you know, one of the. So you'd look at him and go, you know, you see Peter Reid talking about that and Paul Bracewell, like, this fella was amazing, Toffee's telling me, but it's about standards every single day. So that carried on. I just wonder now, do those players, some of them will.
That's why Pep
some of them will.
Pep Guardiola's win everything, that's why you can say.
You see Pep in that documentary when he's going, and you don't see the bits but you see when he goes, you can hate me, but you don't see the bits where
hate me guys, I don't mind if you hate me guys.
So he obviously demands, and he obviously says, and we've seen it like when Tottenham were doing all right, when they first started the process, and Pochettino got rid of some players.
Who? Who's your favourite one?
What's his name? He plays for Palace.
Andros.
Oh, Townsend. And he basically said,
1 in 10 player, isn't he?
That's what I'm saying, because he basically said to him when he first come in, he said to all those players, you come with me and I'll make you, we won't win any trophies, but I'll make you good players.
We'll sniff some,
yeah,
we'll see.
You know, we'll get to a final, but we won't win it. Very much the Moyes of his day. And he said, I'll make you brilliant players, but you've got to put the hard work in for me, and you've got to sacrifice it, and at Dele Alli, you've got to cut out all those videos, and you've got to, you know,
those hotel rooms.
Yeah, none of that. And he said, you've got to, and people like Townsend were like, I'm not prepared to work hard. So where did they get shoved? Newcastle, and then ends up at Palace, and they're never going to do anything. And that's the point, that's the point, isn't it? Players can have nice little careers, no problem. 18, now get yourself a 5-year contract, you're set for life, no problems at all. But what do you want out the game? And the difference between having a nice career where afterwards you go, well, I can get on, I look good and I can wear a suit nice, so I'll get on match of the day. Or do you want to, at the end of it, go, I don't need to do anything, but if I want to go on Sky, I can go on like Roy Keane and go, well, yeah, show me your medals. Let's have a chat about footy, and whatever your opinion is and whatever my opinion is will be elevated, because I've been there, done it and won it. I've played in, you know, Roy Keane will say, I played in the European Cup semi-final, Champions League final, where I knew I wasn't going to play in the final, but I still drove us to that final. Yeah. You know, I scored a goal and got us there. Where, you know, well, Danny Murphy will pick any of them.
Jamie Redknapp.
Janice is the worst. Janice will just go, I had a nice career for Spurs.
And I played for Newcastle.
I played for Newcastle. It was great. And you know what I mean? That's the point. If you want to, at the end of your career, which is what surely, it's like, as someone did the other day, I was like, imagine being an athlete and going, yeah, I think I'll just finish 6th every, you know, what's the point? You're supposed to win, and we don't see that enough about footballers where they go, I want to win, and you want to win, and you're not winning, so get yourself sorted. You seen it?
It comes from the club stuff.
Peter Reid having a go at people on the pitch, and then Andy Gray, and what's funny is they're still having a go at each other and picking individual games out and going, that game, you were crap, and then going, are you still having a go at me? And that, and going, yes, and that's the point, isn't it? It's like,
he said the other night, Andy Gray said, I know Peter Reid, Reid's a great storyteller. Yeah. Reid, he's brilliant. He starts talking and you just go ahead then. Let him go on it. And he goes, I've got this ball.
Better if you've heard it as well.
Yeah, cup final, I've got this ball. I've played it into Sharp. He says, put Sharpie through. He's in on his right foot, thinking just stick it in the net, you know, to win the double. And he said, Sharp stops and says, like, gives the ball. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And Sharp's like, I'm knackered. He's like, you're fucking knackered. We're doing all the running. Yeah, me and Brace are running everywhere and you're knackered, you know. And Andy Gray's like, I wasn't tired. And they're giving each other the banter. And then they had, you know, they're talking about the cup final.
About Reid in the semi-final against Luton as well, aren't they? And saying,
yeah,
you went missing for that game.
Yeah,
and
they're like,
you still give me. And that's the point. They're picking out individual games where they're going, you were crap, and you can imagine for days after training.
And we won that Luton game.
But that's the point. And you can imagine for days afterwards going, you better sort yourself out. That's not good. We aren't going to win stuff. And this is what I don't see enough of in football anymore: is people taking personal responsibility and grabbing hold of someone else and going, I've seen it loads of times with Everton the last few years. We know the one, the old pull your shirt over your face, Williams, don't we? Instead of going, what's going on? What? I hate it. I look at Pickford sometimes and all I want to see him do is run out going, what did you do? What did you do? And what did you do there?
It's Hulk Hogan.
But yeah, listen, in that film, you've got
24-inch pythons, brother!
You've got Van der Now saying, my fault for Whiteside's goal.
And Neville saying, my fault.
And Nev saying, my fault, it shouldn't have gone past.
And then Peter Reid comes on and goes, it was Neville and Pat's fault.
Both were their fault. But that's and then they're ripping Reid going, Andy Gray's going, we're in a cup final, we're breaking us sharp, we're 3-on-1. Why is Peter Reid? When's Peter Reid ever knocked it? He said, when's he ever knocked it past someone and ran round him? He said, he just passed it with score. He said he doesn't. He tries to knock it past Moran and takes it. And they're still like that. Still now.
And yet on Saturday,
responsibility.
And yet on Saturday, I see someone just dart round snarling and no one says a word to him. And he doesn't look bothered either by it. And he was actually when he was when he was. But that's what. But you know what? When he was on standing, Snarling was the first person I thought of. I just went. And people, how he might, he doesn't. But that was what I thought. I was thinking, that's the difference between winners and someone who's just happy to have a nice career.
That's building the culture, isn't it? You've got to build the culture.
Yeah. You find that, but you find that everywhere though. You find that's not just Everton.
No,
it's the culture of, and you know what? It's not even. It's the culture of people being brought up, and it's not their fault. Because this is what I always think. This is what's funny. Knowing people go, your generation, and I always think. Your generation brought that generation up, so don't be having a go at that. It's like my mum used to go, oh, you were terrible when you were a kid. I'll go, yeah, you're my mum. It was your job to stop me being terrible. I mean, that's just an example. I'm not saying my mum was a terrible mother.
Like you're passing the lane to your mum, really. Instead of
passing the book,
if you're
a book passer.
Isn't that the point though? If it's all these people might go, well, this generation, we watch the under-18s and they're all like, none of them tackle. Do you think any of those kids would like to tackle, or have they been told not to tackle?
Well, this is the problem with football, though, isn't it? Like, you know, these kids have been brought up in an era where a manager, Sam Allardyce, is praised. Like it's a trophy.
No, I don't. That's what I'm not talking about.
No, I know what you mean.
No, but this is also part of it. They're also saying to clubs. So, to stay in the Premier, because it's somewhat if we're mid-table, that's our
but that's football, isn't it?
You're also praised for finishing fourth.
That's the point.
Let's aim for fourth.
That's the problem, isn't it? Is that
and I say it. Can we get top four?
That's the problem, isn't it? Is that football has become about all staying in the Premier League. So you sacrifice the chance of winning something by saying, but it's the other side. I'm talking about, like the whole bringing players through where they're not tackling each other. And you see, what's mad is I think Everton have won. Under 18s have won a game this year like 9 or 10-0, right? And then I've been beaten 5-0, and it's like, well, hang on, what's going on there? Like, and it's because it is just tippy tappy round each other. But that's not their fault, because that's what they're being brought up in. We stop bringing through players who, and this is why people like Richarlison and Yerry Mina and Bernard and their work rate stand out like a mile. They don't get brought up. We were talking about this the week, wasn't it? My nephew's played 3 games this season. In a junior league, because every game gets called off because the pitch is not fit to play.
It's not a snooker table.
Could you imagine that in other countries? To be like, no, lad, see that hasn't even see that. That's not even got soil on it. That's made of gravel. Get on with it, and you just play.
Some pitches in the pool, it's like it's a degree angle. We just running down.
That's the underwater off though. No, but that's the point, isn't it? It's like,
but, you know, do things have
Mossy Hills games are never off because they play.
Yeah, that's the point though, isn't it? It's like, and that's not there. We're not bringing through players who understand that culture, because people don't want them to be that. People, like, the first thing now is if anyone's, I'm not even asked, to be honest. You have scrap on the pitch, you'd be like, red, and the old days just go, used to pack it in, I don't want to see any more of that. Away you go, and you go, sound. And then, alright, you might, but if it happens, you're going to get sent off, aren't you? Whereas now, I imagine the first bad tackle, it's off you go. Or you might even be sent off, you might be like, can you take your player off the pitch? It's like, that doesn't breed what we need. That doesn't breed what we need. That does not breed what we need.
The whole thing, though, you can talk about how the kids are brought up at the clubs as well. You know, not having to clean boots, not having to clean dressing.
Brands' plan, Liverpool did this, where they put every player on the same wage at a certain age group. And I think Brands' plans do it to try and make them hungry, because a lot of clubs, especially Chelsea, it's almost kids are like 16 at £8 a week.
I've told you what to do. I told them. So this is what they should do, right? There's an away game. Give them a little bit of money, no phone, and say the first 11 that turn up at the ground get to play. That'll get you there.
Like the Duke of Edinburgh.
That's if you want to win.
Yeah,
that's if you want
to play for Everton.
Yeah, but say you don't want to play.
It's about personal development.
But if you don't want to play, why would we want you at the club?
No, but I'm saying, you know, some kids are
let's be honest, some of these kids end up in Scotland.
Double it up as a Channel 4
thing.
You know, like Hunter or something. I know, but all right.
I'm sure they do best than
You
Stanley
need people
Johnson.
shadowing them just in case any of them go missing.
Yeah, I mean, that
a couple of shadow people in the background. And the first 11 that turn up, they play, and let's separate. Let's separate them. Let's make sure we're getting
Why
the people.
do you snap a couple of snooke cues in the middle of the dressing room? Whoever walks out.
The Joker route. Yeah. There's one position in this team.
Goalkeeper, who's taking it?
Who's taking it? I think that's a good place to wrap up the podcast.
No, the place to wrap it up is make sure you check the film out. It's absolutely brilliant. No. And just for anyone who's saying we need to move on and stop looking in the past, no,
watch it and then move on.
Watch the film. Yeah. No, watch the film and redefine your standards for this football club. That's what it's all about. Get it. You can get it on digital download. You can buy the DVD. Will be the one because it's got extras on it, including Jimmy Martin, who we were talking about, who's the kit man but was the coach driver. It's got half an hour, I think, of Everton 5, Man U 0 and stuff like that. So get that. It's great. It's
on the
great
Sky Store as well.
I know, but if you actually have the DVD, you've got it for it. You've got a physical.
Some people are
thing.
kids though. They don't know what DVDs are.
You can buy them.
They don't discs. I know, but they've got nowhere to put them. That's the point.
They haven't got pockets anymore.
Well, you're not going to get your X's off the Sky Store.
I'm not. I'm just saying that.
But you can get it there.
I'm just saying
it's available download.
Just every Evertonian needs to see this film, though. Everyone. And whatever. One. Just because it's just important. It's important that people watch it, and it's not only important. You know what though, right? It's not just important that you watch it. It was important that it was made. So support the guy who made it as well.
Rob Sloan, fantastic.
Because he's a brilliant blue. He's from Cornwall. For a start, didn't have no. But I'm saying no. He
dedication.
He has got a level of dedication, and support him in making this. Because what we're always moaning about? We're always moaning that there isn't enough Everton out there in the media. And I've seen this great film and this great film about this team. This guy's put money into it himself. A lot of his own money into it. This is a project, a real passion project. He's gone all around the world to get these interviews. Support him by either going to see it on Fact for the rest of the week. And you know what as well? Get in touch with you and say, no, it'd be brilliant to do another Q&A somewhere. Because this is the kind of film where you could take these players and grab a couple of players, do it and somewhere and have a Q&A. And you know what? If it's worth his while, he will. If it's worth his while, he will. You could, but support him because this team deserves to be appreciated, and the man who made it deserves to be appreciated. And shout to Dave as well for all his work as well, innit? Which is brilliant.
It's good that it's in his right hands. Like I spoke to Rob when he was here, and you worry if it was in the wrong hands. But when you speak to Rob, you know entirely that he managed the Sevi documentary, which is a great documentary. This is like the perfect fit. An Everton fan who's also a great documentary maker. So it's perfect for Everton. So.
There you go. We've wrapped it up.
Yeah.
From the Mandalorian to Rob Sloman.
There you go. Some people
is he the Mandalorian?
Well, you don't know because he never takes his mask off. His helmet, so you'd never know. It could be Rob underneath there. There you go. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. See you later.